Hi everyone, my name is Chris Garner. I'd like to welcome you to the OAS to WebLogic webinar. Thanks for taking time out today of your schedules to listen to this. I am the Vice President of Technical Services at Surety CNC Solutions, and I've been doing DataWord CNC administration for about 13 years. I've been a consultant, done upgrades, installs, all the platforms, all the databases, all the web servers, so got a lot of experience with this. I know a little bit of what I'm talking about. Done presentations before and I've done training classes, so that's my background. Some of you may not be familiar with the acronyms OAS or what WebLogic is, so I'm just going to go over that real quick. OAS stands for Oracle Application Server, and WebLogic is the new web solution from Oracle. Oracle purchased WebLogic a few years back, and they're kind of pushing WebLogic now, and they're trying to phase Oracle Application Server out. So the next question you would have in mind is, when does support begin for WebLogic and end for OAS? When are you going to have to do this on your system? Well, from our research in Oracle's documents, support for WebLogic began in Tools Release 8.9.8.3, and the last tools release to support OAS is 8.9.8.4. So just a couple of things to think about there. So with those two differences, 8.9.8.3 and 8.9.8.4, which tools release should you be on? Why should someone make the jump to WebLogic? All right, so the jump to WebLogic would be, if you're going to upgrade at some point in time, maybe you're going to go to Tools Release 9.1, Applications 9.1. Maybe some of your executives would like to use their iPads, or some of your user community would like to use their iPads, or some other type of mobile computing solutions. Or if you'd like to continue to receive any further Oracle web enhancements in the future, which I'm sure all of you want to receive for your systems, then you're probably going to want to go ahead and upgrade to WebLogic at some point in time. And so again, what tools release should you be on to make this switch? Well, Tools Release 8.9.8.4 supports both OAS and WebLogic. It also has the mobile computing features for iPad support. And this is kind of the one we recommend because it's backwards compatible, forwards compatible. It has just about everything you need without being Tools 9.1. So you can kind of phase your way in or phase your way up to 9.1 if that's what you're looking to do. But this one will also give you, WebLogic support and the mobile computing support, which is what a lot of people are looking for now. So what do you do to get this in? How do you begin the install of WebLogic while you're currently using OAS? It's pretty much the same as anything else. You'd want to take in development, go ahead and install a WebLogic server, get that up and running. Once you do that, you really don't want to have the WebLogic and the OAS server running at the same time. I know there are some clients that have this configuration and they say it works. But from what I understand, there's some nuances, and depending on how you use it, you may or may not run into some issues. So it's a good idea to bring that WebLogic server up in development, then take the OAS server offline, and then go ahead and build yourself a new development full package just to cover all bases, make sure everything's working right. Then you can go ahead and roll this out to your user community and let them do testing. If the testing works and everything's gravy, then all you have to do is complete this process and prototype and then complete it again in production. When you decide to go live with it, it should not be a big deal. There's a couple of things to keep in mind, though, where WebLogic differs from OAS on the administration and setup side. Clustering is a bit more complex, but it's very similar to what we've seen at WebSphere. In Oracle, there's a section where if you want multiple JVMs, you can go ahead and just flip a switch and change it from 1 to 2 to 3 or 4, however many JVMs you want to be running on that server, and it's really easy. It's like a 5-second thing. Well, in WebLogic, it's very similar to WebSphere. You're going to have to go ahead and install another instance, and that's how you're going to get your multiple JVMs. So it's going to be a little bit more time-consuming. Instead of just flipping a numeric value, you're going to go ahead and have to do another instance install, which is probably going to take you, I don't know, an hour or two to get that in. So just keep that in mind for planning when you're going forward with this. At this point, I would like to open this up for questions. Let's see if we have any. We have a few questions here. All right, let's take a look at this first one. Will 8.9.8.4 work with 64-bit Windows as well as 32-bit? Yes, and that's one of the reasons we recommend that, is that tools release is fully forwards and backwards compatible. So it's going to cover the old and the new, and it's going to get you where you want to be. All right, let's move on to the next question here. Can we use 8.9 and 8.4 with WebLogic with multi-foundations? Yes, and we recommend that. You will probably want to go ahead and set up multi-foundations. That way you can use your older tools release and keep that going in production while you have this newer tools release in development to do your testing. So the answer to that, yeah, you want to do that. All right, let's take a look at our next question here. Will the user notice any difference between OAS and WebLogic? No, they're going to look exactly the same to the user. The presentation to the user will be identical. They won't know they're running WebLogic unless you tell them. All right, we have another question here. Is WebLogic any faster than OAS? No, they're both virtually identical in speed, so the user won't notice anything. It'll be all the same to them. Like I said, they won't even know they're on WebLogic unless you tell them. All right, got one more question here I'm going to take. How long does a typical WebLogic server take to install? You should be able to get a vanilla WebLogic server up in less than a day, unless you have some special interfaces or something special you'd like to add to it. But it should take less than a day, maybe 2 if you have some unforeseen issue with the server or the setup, but that's about it. It really shouldn't be a big deal. This process is pretty straightforward, pretty simple. All right, it doesn't look like we have any more questions. So once again, I'd like to thank all of you for taking the time out to listen to the webinar today. And if any of you have any questions, you can email me at cgarner@suretycnc.com. And everybody has a good rest of the day. Thank you.